My name is Becca and I love making small businesses in The Sims 4. I've been on a little journey to fill my personal base save with small businesses in every world so that I have places to take my Sims, new things that I can do, places to learn skills that I don't usually play with, and just have a more lively world because I feel like that's lacking. One of the ones on my list is an apple orchard, and now that it's fall, I thought it would be a perfect time to make one. I can't really do this without making a Pinterest board for some inspiration, so here are just a couple things that I threw together to try and get an idea of what I want to do. It's kind of hard to find aesthetic looking apple orchards on Pinterest, but something like this, I think is kind of where I want to go. I'm also planning on doing a pumpkin patch, and so I think I want to save the barn for that. I think I want to do it in Copperdale because apple picking just makes me think of high school, makes me think of going with my family, and of course Copperdale is the high school pack. I understand if it doesn't make the most sense to build it here because as you can see we have a lot of evergreen types of trees and that doesn't always go with a more farmy orchardy feel, but I want stuff in a lot of different worlds and so I'm gonna go with it. I kind of like this price lot, so I'm sorry we're gonna have to evict you. You can just ignore some of those other trees a bit. And if you want to play with this and head for it on Bagley or something that feels like it fits you a little better, knock yourselves out. It might be nice to do our main building in the front and then do the orchards in the back. And as I mentioned, I am going to build a pumpkin patch in the future with more of a barn area. So I think I'm going to make owners to run the pumpkin patch and the apple orchard. So we don't need to worry about having any residential space on this one. This can just be a true small business. But based off of the one that I know, it is pretty long and skinny. I know it's also common to kind of have you pick apple places in different spots than these fancy little farm buildings, but we're going to do them one and the same. And I think it might be nice if we do a little bit of an overhang like this. And we can put seating on there. I think it will look the best once we have a little platform, but something along these lines. We'll make it look a little better than this, don't worry. It is quite large, I will admit. And then we have some columns there. Do we see the vision? I know it's a little weird, but some of these buildings are honestly kind of weird, and so I don't know if it would look too bad. I'm feeling more of a metal roof. I like the green, but it kind of matches the ground, doesn't it? Could do red for apples? Maybe that dark green. Yeah, I like that. And then some skinny white siding. I'm trying to make sure this looks different than the berry patch that I made. Are they gonna look kind of similar because it's a family-owned farm where you go and you pick fruit? Yeah, but we can still try. If you want to watch that one, I'll link it at the end. I would say you don't have to, but I actually really liked that one, so it's not a bad use of your time. I really just like the plain white siding. I do think maybe the metal poles are a little I kind of like these Get Famous ones. They're just plain concrete, but I like how they look. I like this. This is what I was envisioning. We could always add a little patio out on the back that does lead you to the orchard if we feel like it's missing just something. It breaks up the shape a little bit. Have I left a lot of room for apples? No, I really haven't. Well, something that can help us decide how much space we need is this idea I had today as I was driving home from work getting ready to do this. And that is, I might want to make this be a place where you can learn the fizzing skill. I was trying to brainstorm a location to put this stuff because I never used this skill. That's the whole point of this, and have my Sims come to these places and learn more things. And the fizzing skill is one of those. But apple picking, I think, is perfect because you can kind of feel like it's apple cider that you're brewing. Inside, we need a place where you can buy coffee, or in my mind, apple cider, a place where you can learn how to make it, and a bathroom. And then we can also get some apple trees off of the gallery. How strange. Oh boy, I can't do this. Oh, I should have saved. Okay, I went ahead and I did the really annoying thing off screen, which is get a bunch of animals. Animals? What was that even? What? A bunch of apple trees. Wow. I honestly think I'm gonna need more than this, but this is a good start. We can make some pretty lines. Honestly, when you apple pick, they're kind of spaced apart pretty significantly, but that's not gonna look as great in the game. So we'll just do this, which is every 1.5 tiles. I know that you don't need this many in game, but I want it to look authentic. and tick. I want it to look beautiful. I'm kind of twisting them as I place them so they don't look completely uniform, even though I know the rows are kind of giving uniform. Is that too many? I don't know. When I did berries, I did a lot. When I did a vineyard, I did a lot. I'm kind of worried that they'll look better if they were going this way and not horizontally. That word I'm looking for is vertically. Worried they would look better that way and I shouldn't do it this way. But I feel like a lot of short rows this direction would look a little goofy. You know what I mean? What do we think? Is it too uniform? Would it look better this way? Okay, I might regret this. I want to try it both ways. What do we think? And this would kind of be way too. It's not even. I was just moving things around really quickly. Oh, I feel like that way is better. Oh, do you agree? I feel like it just looks a little more apple orchardy. We're gonna do it, and if you absolutely hate it and you think I am making the wrong call, feel free to yell at me. The song I have stuck in my head today is Forever by Noah Kahan. My nephew got married yesterday, and that was their first dance song, and a rainbow came out just for the song and the dance. And it was so absolutely beautiful and so sweet. And so I've been listening to it and humming it and singing it all day. As always, I love music recommendations, so please share anything and everything that you are currently listening to that you are obsessed with, because oh my goodness, I love getting music recommendations. It's kind of funny, but all of these apples that we have on the ground, I'm just gonna leave. It's so realistic that you see apples all over the ground when you're apple picking. Well, I don't usually like doing the outside first, but while we're here, we may as well keep going. Hi, kitty. It's raining today and she does not like the rain, so she probably wants somebody to cuddle with and keep her safe. She's saying goodbye. Bye, Cleo. I think we need some tall trees to help us out. This is not as tall as I was hoping, but I think a tall tree in that corner would really work. Okay, we have some options. I think that one's too big, so let's keep that sized up one we have. That green is just so green. I wanted to have a greener one to offset this yellow, just to kind of help fill the lot in a little bit. And then it would be nice to have a big tree up in the front. We put that one there. And I'm wondering if I should fence this in. I think it would make sense that you would have a fence to keep out any critters, keep out any people coming to pick and not pay. I'm just not positive. It would look like that. That's a lot better. I think that makes sense. I normally like when the lot feels like it continues off of the lot, and we can do that in the front a little bit, but this at least cuts our bounds of where you're picking. And then I just like to put little trees at the very ends of the post. That's nice. I'm liking that for now. To continue in the theme of bouncing around, as I often do, I need to get a roof trim. I have not done that yet. Maybe that one's better. I'm trying to use more interesting trims though. You can do a simple foundation trim as usual. I just like this plain one. Add a little bit of a lip. Yeah. And I actually want to use this as an opportunity to add one of the playgrounds, because the place that I went to growing up has a giant playground. Once we get Adventure Awaits, I might not be using them as much. The space really doesn't feel like it fits, but I just used the pirate ship one. I think it's gonna have to do. Oh, that red is kind of like apple, you know? We do the red and the green. I think that's actually kind of cute. We can think about having a little toddler slide as well. And then I want a lot of picnic tables. Maybe these dark ones? Kind of nice. Does that feel too clean, too contained? Because I do like having it on the gravel. I do think in a way that's really nice, but it might not be organic enough. We could always go in with terrain paint, which I'm still not the best at, but I'm practicing. And that way it feels a little less structured. Try and like blend the edges out a little. I think it would be nice, as I've been doing in like all of these builds, is put a little picnic blanket over here. That way you can have some family time over here, or you can have some more private date time over here. And of course, they need a matching picnic basket. I don't think there really is a reason to not put a woohoo bush down. You may as well. You have some options. Maybe over here we can also put a grill or something. You know, just a nice little place for you to make some food. I'm going to temporarily call this good right now because we have the main layout. We have most of the things we want to include on the outside. I want to work on the inside for a little bit and make some progress here. I think once this building starts coming into shape a little bit better, I'll have a better feeling of what the whole place looks like. This is a really plain building, so it's gonna need just plain windows to go with it. We could also pivot and try one thing a little different. This the bathroom and move all of this stuff over here to the right. I'm worried it makes the exit feel a little strange, but we can try and make that work. Okay, if we flip it and we do 2 stalls, we could have those there. A bit more space over here in the corner, which helps what I was worried about. And then we can fit more of the learning material over here. Might do that still, and that could be a little seating area. Hey, I kind of like this setup actually. I haven't done it this way before. There's only so many setups you can do with these ginormous machines and the hobby classes, back to back, all facing forward. But I kind of like those 2 facing each other and that one at the back with the board at the front. Then you can go in there and learn how to make cider. I think that's really cute. I actually think that's really, really cute. What about 1? Is that centered? Maybe we'll just do the 1. And then at least it looks good from the outside. If this is going to be a place where we can make juice fizzing, I think I'd like to have some space to sell some juice fizzing stuff in here as well. And then maybe a little bit of seating there. That's the case. Maybe we get one of those display cases here. Oh, it fills the space up really nicely. Well, as you can probably tell, I took a little bit of a break. I kind of had work to go to. We are home now, and let's keep making progress on the inside. I'm actually really happy with where we left things off. I'm going to continue this simple white siding throughout the inside, possibly for every room. We'll still decide. I also am a huge sucker for archways as doors, as though it's already opened. We have a couple that are already built to do this, but that's not the vibe here. I don't really think most of this is the vibe. Maybe we'll see if we can get this in a color that works. Oh, I like the green. Wait a minute. No, I used this exact same door for the berry patch, but isn't that just so cute? And it's inviting, you know, you can just walk in. It makes the place feel public and open. Oh, I'm so tempted. In public spaces, I almost always just do an archway for the bathroom entrance and then some kind of exit to the back. How would these look? Oh, the barn doors are just so much better. I know that's a little strange, but I kind of like it. That look out of place? I'm gonna keep that for now. I'm really happy with this so far. If I don't do the siding on the inside, I think I would want to do it kind of wooden, but maybe we can try a wooden floor first and see if that gives me what I'm thinking of. Kind of just pulling from experience now. It's a really nice wood floor. Be the all wooden swatches of this. Maybe this room we can give a bit more of that wooden paneling just to switch it up and make the cider feel more rustic. This option might be nice. I also wanted to just search Apple and use anything that we can find. Having an Apple clock at the place where you pick apples is kind of adorable. I know there is a bucket in Country Kitchen that has swatches that looks like apples. We have 3 options. These are our apple options. So I do want to just do some placement of some apples in here. Would it be crazy? Yeah, okay. I was gonna ask if it'd be crazy to size them up because it would just look like a huge barrel of apples, and that's exactly what it looks like. A huge barrel of ginormous apples, so that's not gonna work. That's okay. I'm definitely gonna want some of these outside as well. We could also try and switch it up by having some buckets like this and sizing the apples down and placing them in the bucket. Maybe? That way at least it looks a little different. I think it works. This has an apple on it. This could be like certified great apples, you know? Who knows? I think we could have a cute little menu board, maybe on this wall. This one has drinks and pastries. Oh, I do like that one. And then maybe we could put this one in here as though it's like the recipe for the cider. Does that make sense? Yeah, that's a really cute piece. Maybe we could stick that in there somewhere as well. We can just get some blinds in here. It feels kind of goofy that I'm using my first pet stuff, but they're pretty good blinds. Should we do it in a little Granny Smith green? Just some plain lighting works. I kind of like these more industrial looking ones. I think that's nice and it gives it a little bit of that look. Why do I want to put a keg? Should we put a keg? I don't know. I just never use them. Could this be the time to use them? I think it might be nice to kind of put a drink tray in the corner and you can play pretend that you're trying the product at the very end. I think this tall, skinny standing table will do the trick. That's got a slot. Yeah. That way you can fill it and pretend that you're tasting the apple. Is there anything else we want to put in this room? Maybe we move these apples over here and we try and get like a chair? Let's just tuck this chair in here, get it in that color. Okay, while we have the chairs open, let's just get some rocking chairs. I don't think I'm gonna do the front just yet, but I want to put all of our options out. I might pop on the gallery and just see what kind of juices people have put there and give us an idea of how much there is to find. We have some variations. We have these 6-packs and then we have these 12-packs because you have regular juice and you have seltzer. I don't play with this pack all of the time, so just trying to figure this out. Kombucha, beetle nugget, suspicious fizz. Ew. I had nowhere else on the lot to place all of this stuff, so it had to go over my playground. I went ahead and got a couple different types of rooms from the gallery just to expand our chances of making sure we hit one of everything at least. And I know this is an apple cider place, but I do want to have a lot of seltzers and a lot of juices available to buy here. I think I'm gonna do another juice fizzing location eventually, but it won't hurt to have 2 different places to buy it, right? Why not? It's funny that none of these are actually like apple juice. And I just think it might be cute to take some of these boxes and like stack them up in the corner. Oh, I like that. Okay. Because I am slightly worried about all of this stuff going bad and you're not able to drink it because it's all expired by the time you get to it, I might just use these glass displays instead and just fill them with as much as possible because these are refrigerated. I know they clip into each other a little bit, but for me, it's worth it to fit as many in as possible, even if there's clipping. And I know it's a little crowded, but I think I'm just gonna kind of line the room with these. You do have room to walk around. It's definitely okay. For now, I'm gonna leave this apple painting right there. And let me just kind of get rid of this ginormous mess that I created. And I think I'm gonna put this little apple plaque right there. Just something about having the best apples in town. I love doing these little half boys, but I am worried that it would look stupid going across all 4. Or does it look charming? Love a little bistro curtain. Get it in the green again, because that's kind of like our accent color with the apples. And I think we can probably carry this lighting through into here. Nice little sign-in spot there. And then I kind of like the idea of just kind of some crates in the corner. I know those guys are a little large, but if we size them down, maybe it works. It's a good space filler, especially for a place like this where you'd find crates. Ooh, that has apples on it though. This. And then I know we have like an upside down bucket seat from Raj Pack now, and maybe that could look really good there. Oh, I like it. Let's move on to just a little seating area. And I mean little. There's obviously not a lot of space for this, and I just want some kind of comfortable space inside. This window not being centered kind of throwing me off, but that's what it would look like from the outside. Is it worth it? Honestly, it might be worth it. I hate to say it. You know, that kind of has some of that green that we're trying to use. We could get 2 chairs and then like a coffee table. This is a public setting, so you would expect to find something a little more basic, a little more industrial. Oh my gosh, it's Star Wars, but I want this one. Oh my goodness. Put the apples there. They're so cute. And then just kind of put a little drink there like, oh, why am I so choppy? And I'm just gonna do the same lights again. I have it centered with the door. I know it's not centered with that, and that's kind of annoying, but we're gonna have to just accept it. But I think that's kind of a nice little seating area. It has our pop of green. It has just a little bit of comforts. We can get the green shades again. Yeah, it doesn't need to be too cluttered. It's a public space. Ooh, I want another apple. I didn't know this came in different colors. That's so fun. Okay, I think that's honestly good for now. I can fill it with a little extra clutter at the very end if we need to. All right, just to make it not look horrible from the window, maybe I will make them the white swatch. They each get a little bit of window in them. We'll just need some sinks here. I have done so many small business public space sinks now. I feel like they all just end up looking the same. I think we can just take 2 of these ones, center them in the room. Wow, that lighting really makes them that different. That's horrible. What lighting is doing that? It's doing that to these too. Okay, maybe if we put this in here, we'll fix it. I mean, not really. Okay, well, we're gonna have to just deal with it, I guess. We'll just get some big mirrors. As usual, we have our little towel dispenser. We have our little hand sanitizer. You've watched me do a small business. You've watched me do all of this a million times, but it works. Oh gosh. I think my mouse just died. No! I literally let it charge for like a minute. I'm in the zone. I don't want to stop, and I'm also scared of losing progress if I haven't saved in a second. So we're just gonna see how long we can go with these tiny bursts of charging. Let's get a trash can for inside the bathroom. And honestly, I know the bathroom's kind of boring, but I don't really want to do more. Little rug. And then maybe we just throw my favorite plant in because that makes literally everything better. Look at that. We can add some soap on the counters as well. I think that's nice. When it comes to inside, I'm pretty happy with that. Let's just check if there's somewhere to put this little apple picture. Maybe in between. It's kind of cute there. I like that. Okay. I think I'm also gonna just take these crates. Also pop these in the corner. Just a little more decor. I'm really happy with that. I think that's nice. Let's get some rocking chairs for the front. The knitting ones won't be as good here. Or they're all just horse ranch. Ooh, I think extending the wood out to the front would be really nice. And one thing we have not done yet is get some stairs up. They're tiny stairs. Yeah, I like that. And I usually do fences around it, but I kind of like this not having a fence. I like the feeling that it's just a lot more open. I think it would also be really nice to have a chess table out here. Ooh, should we do that green? I like that. We can scoot it over along the edge. Bring these rocking chairs in a little bit. And maybe it would be nice to give these windows little flower boxes. I think that's cute. And maybe we size them down one. This is just base game. I'd love if I could find a green wooden chair. Not that green wooden chair. Because those will probably work if they have to, but it would be so much more fun if we had one that really, really matched. Okay, we can do that. This also does feel like it would be a good place for a guitar, probably just because of the horse ranch vibes of it all. Let's get a little guitar, maybe the red, because red apples. I just like the idea of a lot of different skill building items on this lot. Gives you more things to do if you come here, you know? Painting, guitar, logic, any other skill items we can add. I always love throwing in a little telescope because why not? Now that we have them, we kind of need to use them. And then we definitely just need a little pedestal table between both of them. I'm thinking one can also have a drink tray like we have inside, and maybe the other can have one of our bountiful buckets of apples. I know it's very plain and simple. I feel like it's realistic, you know? And then back here is a little more of the adult fun area. I am gonna do something a little wild, and I am actually gonna put a keg back here because why not? Just another picnic table for this space in case it's raining or something, but then you have some picnic area back here. And maybe one last thing we can do is add some trellis here because I think that will just help us feel like this wall is a little less boring. Yeah, I definitely like that. I'm really happy. Let's fill the place in with some more foliage. I want my low-lying yellow flowers. Where are you? You can't hide from me. Low-lying yellow flowers and then a nice fern right in the middle. That's how I landscape. I will actually say, I think the fern isn't vibing today. Oh wait, that fern is vibing. What do we think? Yeah, that fern is vibing. We can always count on that with me. And along this side, we can get a little taller just because we want to make it clear that you're not supposed to go off on this edge. Maybe we just carry that down this side. Okay, I think that's really nice. Maybe on this side, we get ones that are just slightly more manicured. It kind of ruins the need for that trellis, but I like that it gets a little higher in that spot. And then we can just get some tiny boys over here. Maybe some extra bushes, extra grass over here to just help this blend in a little bit. And same thing right here. I like to do the long grass kind coming off of the trees where you wouldn't be able to mow the lawn as well. Hosta's kind of nice. Oh, it's really coming together. I'm gonna just add a fire alarm and a sprinkler system. I don't use these often, but I've been trying to put them in my builds when they're small businesses, just so that if something happens, the place doesn't totally fall apart. I think one last thing I'll do is try and get that to go off of the lot a little bit, help blend our edges as I like to often do. That actually matches that. That works very well. Just some extra grass along the edge. I think it goes a long way. Okay, last thing, let's do some terrain paint all over and we might be done. It'd be really great if we could kind of match that. Ooh, that gray's a little better. I know it's kind of sandy, but then just like really feather it out on the end and then darken the edges a little bit. Okay, does that kind of look like it matches? I know it's not great. That can kind of gray it up a little bit, but at least it kind of looks like it carries in, right? Maybe a little. And it's really important that we get some lines going down where our apples are planted. Really give it that orchard feel. That's better. I think that really helps. Add some bigger patches where there's a lot more walking being done, like leading off there. Spot. Maybe I'll go really tiny along the fence. There's been some update that's made terrain paint a lot like choppier. We'll see when they fix that. I think I'm just gonna add some darkness to the edges like we did with the other spot, just to try and make it feel a little more natural, a little less stark. I think that's pretty good. Let's do a little walk through and make sure I'm not missing anything. So here is our little small business apple picking orchard. You have just a nice cozy little space up front. When you walk in, you have places where you can purchase some baked goods, some cider or coffee, as well as a lot of fizzy juice stuff because there is a little cidery on site where you would make your apple cider, your apple juice, and every other actual juice you can make in the game. But in my mind, we pretend. You come over here, there's just a nice little seating area and then a public bathroom. Come out, there's a little date area, so you have a woohoo blanket, you have a woohoo bush, some apples, you have a keg, because why not? Some skill building, and then we have our apple orchard where you can pick your apples, as well as just some more general seating space and a place for some kids to play, and that wraps back around to the front. So good for a date, good for families. This is my apple orchard small business and I'm happy with it. Let's set this to a small business and put this on the gallery. I think to actually set what types of things you're going to do on the lot, you need to pick the owner, then purchase it, and then you can set it up there. But I would just recommend tending and harvesting garden, juice fizzing, eating, drinking, ordering food and drinks, and then like playing with playground equipment probably. I would kind of recommend those as what I'm gonna do. Oh, that makes me wonder if I should put some sign up. Maybe we can take this one, put it like right there. Does that look weird or does that work? Put the apple on the wall we build. Actually, I want it at the front. Get it in red. Is it weird or do we like it? I want to like it. I feel like that looks like it could say apple in Simlish. Let's do that. A little sign. All right, now we can put this on the gallery. I'm gonna call this Apple Orchard Small Biz just because I can't fit business. I like how it looks. I'm really happy with it. And it reminds me of the one that I grew up with. So let's put it on the gallery. If you want to play with it, knock yourself out. I do plan on making an owner for it maybe next month after I make the pumpkin patch I want to make. Thank you for hanging out with me as I did this. I had a really good time, of course. I've been so excited for this one and wanted to do it once I did apple picking this year. And so this was the perfect time. And I hope I get to go apple picking again one more time because we make a mean homemade applesauce. I hope you have a great rest of your week, and I will see you all later. Bye!